So this is one of those emergency exit windows that has this latch like this. So this one will fold out pretty far, and this is one of those frameless windows as well. So in order to take one of these out, you have to take the plug that's on the end and just lightly tap on it with a screwdriver. So this was a plastic plug, so I made sure I lightly tapped on it. So I got that out, and then you take this window and then you just slide it right on out. I'm gonna clip you over here, and we do it nice and carefully so we don't break anything. All right, now that I have the window out, I can inspect my seal. So the thing with these campers is that when they're getting flexed, especially in the back end of the camper, the seal can crack between the window and the wall, and then that will just let small drips in, and then small drips will end up coming around and going right inside the camper. So next step here is I'm gonna take the inside off and then pull this whole thing off. But in order to do that, I gotta remove this here is my screen holder for the bedroom. I'm gonna take all that out too. So when you have the window out, so I took the frame out and the window just pretty much popped out. And when you got the frame out, you take a look and inspect the window here. So you see that on these ultralight campers, there's really not much to them. We got this fiberglass outside shell here, and then we have this Luan piece right here, and foam insulation in between. And that's it for this wall. That's all it is. So I'm looking around, and all of this is where it was dripping right here. And so I see maybe a little bit of water, not even much. So it looks actually really clean. And then I look all around, and I really don't see anything. You can't really see that except for right there. You see it, like all of this dirt, and it's actually still a little wet right there too. And so there's a wet mark. So what I think happened is that water came in here, and then since when we got home, the camper's tilted over like this, it just ran down here and then dripped out here. So this is where it came out, but I think this is where it's actually coming from. So you can see it's just really, it's really dusty, really dirty. So I don't really know, like around the window, it's probably from right there, because there's just a close part of the edge was touching in there. So it's probably just coming down around and then coming in right there. So next step is we take this. Nathan's here. Welcome, dude.
With a ring pop.
Oh, of course, with a ring pop. Nice. Did you bring one for me?
No.
No. Okay. So what we do is we take this stuff and we got to peel it all off, and hopefully it won't be too bad. And it's not actually coming off that bad. Actually wasn't really even stuck there, so that could be where it was having the problem. And I got a little trick for this too. I'll show you that in a minute. We just take that off the whole way around, and then we're gonna put some butyl tape on it. And I don't know why they didn't butyl it. They put this foam stuff on, and I'm pretty sure this is no good, but we're gonna put butyl on, and we're gonna stick it back on, and that'll create a nice seal. So let's bring this outside and we'll get that cleaned up. So I'm gonna use a putty knife to get most of the foam off, and I just scrape it, push it, get it off, and then I'm gonna go around, and you see it leaves some residue on there, leaves some of this residue on. What I'm gonna do next is go around with a wire wheel on my drill and then buzz it off. So I'll just buzz it off real quick. Since it's aluminum, we don't have to worry so much about taking the paint off because it won't rust. So we'll just buzz it real quick with the wire wheel, get all the junk off and get it nice and clean. Maybe wipe it down with some alcohol, and then we'll attach the butyl right to the window right here. And so I don't know exactly where the water was coming in, but this stuff is coming up pretty, like, look at that. Whoa. Just peeling up really well. so it didn't have too much of a seal. And this part right here with all of these rivets in it, it was making it so that water could probably come in around there if the seal was broken at all. All we got to make sure we do now is just make sure we clean it up really well and get that butyl on there, and then make sure we get it around these rivets so that it makes a good seal. So I cleaned it up with the wire wheel and it's looking really good. I even, on this part where the foam just came off really easily, I still scuffed it up with the wire wheel a little bit just so that it gives it a little bit of grip so that the butyl can just sit right in it. Another thing I like about the wire wheel is that it makes small grooves, like horizontal grooves inside there, so that the butyl will like sit in there. And then it makes a really good seal. So if they were like vertical, it might give the rain a little bit of path to like travel down. But since they're across, it'll make a nice seal all the way across. So I like using that. Worked out really well. And then I just used some alcohol and cleaned it up. So we'll be ready. I'll wait a couple minutes here. I'll clean off the side of the camper, and then I'll come back and put the butyl on here. So those CO2 sensors sure are, man, they're very sensitive. So I'm just out here in the window, I'm wiping it out with some alcohol, and it sets that thing off. Not just CO2, any type of gas or anything like that sets the thing off. So, all right, so I'm still out there cleaning that up. So I had to come in and mute that thing. So now we're gonna put on the butyl tape, and my tape is a little out of round here. I should have gone to the store and bought a new roll of tape. So I'm gonna give this one a try. I'll probably have to spend quite a bit of time molding it into place, but they sell this at, I think, Camping World and some of the other camping places. You can just go and get a roll of butyl tape and just roll it out and peel this off. So that's what I'd recommend. I just had one and I'm gonna use it up. But the important part is that you start kind of down low and you get the top part in one swipe. You don't want to have a seal or a seam at the top. If you need a seam at all, just have one seam. If you can go all the way around and meet somewhere down, possibly underneath, it would probably be best. But the side is probably good too, but just don't want to have your seam meet at the top. So let's get this on. That's it right there. I'm just gonna tap it on lightly. The one thing you want to make sure you do too is not stretch it as you're going. Mine was pretty stretched out already, but I think it'll work just fine. Again, if you use a brand new roll of butyl, you shouldn't have that issue. But I'm gonna go ahead and bring it into the camper and then go ahead and squeeze it on. And what's going on here? Wait, what is... Come on, yeah!
Oh, Dad, don't do that.
I guess we're bringing some horses home. All right.
Walk her all the way around, okay? Remember? Wait.
I'm coming out. Thanks, baby. All right, I gotta go put that window in. All right, so I got my butyl on. Just gotta make sure I put the window in the right way. So I got the notch right down there. And then the key with this butyl will be to make sure that it seats well, okay? So you really gotta screw it in and you gotta have it get a good bite. There's a spot right out there that I can see. I'll show you. Right there, you see that daylight coming in? That's kind of crucial right there. That's probably, again, there's probably a bend in this.
Is that bad?
That's probably why the water came in. So we got to make sure that it's closed. So right there, it's closed. Let's see if we can get that figured out. on there. Let's go take a look outside. So this is what we're looking for right here. You see how by squeezing it, the butyl popped out. And so that's perfect. And we see that over here as well. I don't see any gaps in there. Just to make sure. What do you think, Luke?
It looks good.
Looks pretty good.
Except for that it's missing the actual window pane.
Yeah, we'll get that. Don't worry. We'll get it.
I wouldn't
So
want
it
to camp
squeezed
with
it in
this.
pretty well. I like to finish it up by just taking a screwdriver and just... That's about it. You don't really have to do that, but I just like to do that. And then I just rub my finger like a bead of caulk kind of. Clean it up, get the excess off. And you can even leave it if you want, but I just like to scrape it off. Don't go too hard or else you'll scratch your camper. But just, you know, rub it off. You're good to go. So this butyl stuff, I have a little bit in the camper when we travel for something like this, just a little bit. I don't have a whole roll. I'll probably end up carrying a roll with us as we go. But yeah, that's it right there. It's pretty simple. Much better to do this. Reseal the window than to try to put silicone around it, okay? Because when you got the window off, you can see how much damage is done. You can see maybe where the leak was coming from, where you need to concentrate on. So we concentrated on that upper corner because we saw the water coming in up there and then going down below. And then we can add a little bit more butyl there if we need to. But resealing it's the way to go. All right. So hope this helps. If you have any questions, drop one below. I'd be glad to help. If you're brand new, subscribe. We do all this stuff all the time, and I try to show you the easiest way to get stuff like this taken care of. So thanks much. Talk to you soon, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.